Hello everyone. I believe you guys are having an amazing weekend. And I believe that you are becoming better individuals. You all are just awesome and unique. So let's dive right straight into exactly what we did in our last class. And a disclaimer: this is a lecture review, so you are actually free to do whatsoever you want to do. So we are doing this to ensure that we are carrying everyone along. And even as uneasy as it seems, the goal is to ensure that you all become world class and become very proficient with web development tools. HTML um, is actually one of the tools. So let's dive right straight into our VS Studio Code and start coding. So the first thing that we looked at was lists. So I explained that just as I code would be, as I explained, I'll be coding. So we looked at another list. So another list. I'm giving this comment so the video will be super detailed and explanatory. So and I told you guys about the UL tag, and inside the UL tag we can have like 4 list items. UL actually means another list, then li list items. So we could fill this up with let's say item, and we could just say item 1, item 2, item 3, items, sorry guys, 4. And when I save this, you see these bullet points. This actually means that they are unordered. So and the next that we looked at was ordered list. And the first thing we did was do OL, which is ordered list. Inside that OL we had, let's still have 4 list items, and inside here we can say item 1, just as we did in the other one. We say item 2, say item 3, and 4, item 4. And when I save this, you see the difference. So sorry about the background noise, guys. So this is actually detailed 1, 2, 3, 4. So I also showed you that we could actually change the order. We could actually come here and say type and change it to A, and when we save it, see we have A, B, C, D. It progresses with the number of contents that you have. I also showed you we could change it to small letter, and we'll have A, B, C, D, and we could change it to the Roman numerals, and when we have I, we could change it to the small one. And I think this was basically what we did with the ordered and unordered list. We also talked about nested lists, so let's take a look at that. Nested list, and it means like having a list inside a list. So let's work with the unordered list. So let's scroll along. UL, inside the UL I'll have my li. I can just have 3, so we could be up and running with others like other content. So I have items 1, I can have items 2, sorry about this, guys. So I have item 3. So, and we give an example, so I can come into item 2, and I'll do this, and inside this list I'll have another list, and inside my another list I can have li times 2. So I can have A and B. So when I save this, you could also you can see that, sorry about the background noise, guys. You can see that we have item 1, item 2, and inside item 2 I have 2 items 2. So I can come down to item 3 and do the same. I could come here and say, so I could just come here and say ordered list, and inside the ordered list I'll have 2 items. So I can come here and say apples, and I can come here and have grapes. So you could just do whatever you want to do. See, this actually shows that they are nested, like these items are actually inside these items. I think that was all we did with lists. And I also explained to you that the idea of understanding how to create lists will actually help you when we start creating navigation bars. Now let's jump right straight into how to create tables. So let's have a comment here, and let's say, sorry about this guys, let's say tables, and I'll say, I told you guys about the table tag. The table tag is actually used to create tables, and inside the table tag we have two tags, like two sub tags. With the first is what I want to hear it out loud, a table head. Yes guys, so let's just leave, let's say table head, and you know the tag for that, THEAD, table head, and the next is table body. So the table basically has let's come down here and say T body. The table basically has a table head and a table body. So inside the table head we have table row, small letter please guys, and inside the table row we have table heading. So, and this table heading, let's have 3 of these, let's have 4, sorry. So this is actually the first row of every table, and we used the list that was passed around the class during the first, I think the second class that we had to get our phone numbers. We actually created that list, which included an index, so, and the names of students that were present in class. We had their phone numbers, and I didn't include the email address, but you could just do something. So we're basically done with the table head. Sorry about this, it should be in small letters. So T body. So inside the table body we also have a table row, and inside here we have table data TD. So we also have 4 of these, so it could actually correspond with these columns. So the first one I could just say 01. I will use my name, John Champ. I can just come here and use my foreign number. Then I could just come here and use my email address, me@john.com. So you see how they all, it's actually ugly because we do not have any styling, but you get the point, right? So we could come here and drag this down. You remember the shortcut Shift Alt down, and we could just come here and edit this. We could just say champ, sorry, and we could leave that and say avatar.com. So when we save this guy, and let's save him, okay, it should just appear, right? Let me save this guy. I think I'm saving him. Just okay, yeah, it took some time to appear, but this is exactly, so you could have as many list items. I'm sorry, you could have as many items in your table body. You could have as many. All you just need, you need the rows, and inside the rows you have the table data should actually correspond with the table head. The contents in the table head, it should correspond. That's actually what makes it a table. So I think that was all we did with lists and tables, and let's jump right straight into the next item. So the next thing we looked at was forms and inputs. So let's create that. So we'll do 06, remember touch. I forgot that in class, thank you guys for reminding me. We did form and inputs or inputs.html. So I think we have that now. Open it up, Control B to get rid of this, our boilerplate. Then just come here and say form and input. that should be it. So I'll save this and I'll just come here. You could just reload your live server, but I prefer to do mine this way. So we actually have a blank page. So it's important to note that when you build forms on a website with just HTML and CSS, what you basically see is just the display, just as I explained to you. The stuff that happens when you click a form is actually is the logic, and that's the back end work. So let's create a form. So to create a form, we just need the form tag, and you could just put hash or you could just leave it blank. So we'll explain what the action attribute actually means. So inside the form tag, we actually had a div, and which I explained to be a division tag. I actually told you guys that this was a block element. We'll be explaining this in the next slide. So inside the div, we had a label tag, and we say label for name, and we call this name, and we had an input, and we said input type should be text, name should be name, and ID should be name. So we saved this, and we had this. So this was exactly what we all had in class, and we could just add a line break here or whatever you want to add that. And no, not here, guys, I think here. So we created inside this same form tag, we created another label for email. So say for email, and we call this email. Let's save, and we need an input. It's just like when you have with this has already been labeled email, we need like an input space, so we could actually key in our email. So we say type email, name, email, and ID, the email. So when we save that, we actually had this together, everyone, while we were actually coding along. So we could just I failed to put this in a div, so I could just come here and say div. You know what I did here? Actually did Control X. I had to cut it, opened up a div and had it there. So I will include the line break, and I will come down here and I will say, let's create a space to key in our message in case. So we'll say div, and we'll say label, say the label tag. Sorry about these mistakes. Okay, I think I should just do it the old way. Then I'll say label for message, and I'll come right here and I'll say message. And when I save this, I should have message. Then I actually need an input. Input name should be message, input type should be message, or just text, or just whatever you want to, but I feel messages, so we could just say text, and we'll now say input name should be message, input ID should be message, and sorry guys, I was just trying to, so I'll say codes, let's say 30. This means like the column size, and rows. Sorry, I keep doing this. You could actually leave it empty or blank. What's happening? It's not okay, guys. Sorry, not input. This should be text area. I'm sorry about that, guys. So send message. I was thinking about this because I was so when we could just come inside here and say type your message, and when we save this, we should have this. So we could stretch it, and we could stretch it, and could type type a message and say I want some apples. So whatever you want, you could just key it into this place. So to add a line break here, so okay. What else did we do? What else did we do? Okay, yeah, we did various ways of collecting inputs. So the first was we looked at how to select items from a list. So let's have let's say select list. So, and we all created the div together, and we use the select tag. We say name, let's say skills. Like you could do whatever you want to do with the select tag. So inside here we had the option tags. You know, like you should even by default, when you think about this, when you want to select, you would actually want to select between options. So here we could say skill 1, and inside here we can say web, and we drag this down a couple of times. I could just say skill 2, say cloud, and here I would say skill 3, and say cyber, and skill 4, I'll say robotics, right? And skill 5, I'll say web3. Have you guys heard about web3? So when I click here, you know, see, I could actually select maybe cyber or web3. The next thing we looked at was how to select numbers. So, and to do that, let's say some numbers. So, and to do that, we actually had a div, and inside our div we had the label. Keep wrongly typing this, guys. I don't keep, yeah, label for, let's say, age, and we have our input type. So say number, not numbers. Pay attention. I could just say name, age, and ID, age. So yeah, okay. So I could actually select. You know what, guys? Let me just add a line break here. So I could just select. You know, say I'm 100 years old or something. I could edit this, and you know, it progresses. So you get the idea, right? So let's move to the next one. The next thing we did, we actually looked at dates, how to. So, and to do this, we had to use created a div, and inside our div we had a label. Wow, what's wrong with me? So inside our label actually had the birth dates. So I'll come here and I'll say birthday. You know, guys, I'm just trying to wrap this all up. So because I believe just by looking at what I'm doing, what we did in class would actually be coming in live, and like you get to picture exactly what we did in class, and we are all on the same page. So that's why I actually want the video to be very short and precise. You get the point, right? Okay, thank you guys for your patience and understanding. So I could just click this icon, you know, and I have the option to choose my birth date, so you could just choose, but you get the point. So, and the last input way that we saw, the input tag that we saw was not input tag, like the last way that I showed you guys how to, you know, select items was using the radio buttons. So say radio buttons. So we did label. Guys, please forgive me guys about this. So say membership, and so by now you should understand what the label tag does. You should understand that it basically gives you like like before we actually get the little form or the little space or the actions that we actually want to, you know, would actually want to conduct, we get to see the label. Like, yeah, so that's what you could just observe that we've been using label for birthdays. We used label before this. For the age we used label, and also for this we used label. For this one we use label. So you could just see like the repetition, and it keeps appearing, you know, by the left hand side. So except for this one, so you get the point why we use label. So, and we actually specify why we actually want to use it. So why for birth dates, for age, and so on. This really doesn't affect, like, the reason why we actually have all this, and it actually happens from the input side. So this type, if we had, let's remove this and change it to text and save it, you won't see, you know, there will be no option, you know, there is. But when we say number and we save it, when you come right, you know, so you get the point, right? Thank you guys. So let's move down to this one. So after this we now have the input type. So input type, when I say radio, you know, see, we actually have like a radio button or icon, whatsoever choose to call it. So I have name, I say membership, and I'll have value, I'll say simple, and I'll have ID, so I'll say membership. So I'll save it. I'll have 3 of these. And then I'll come here, I'll say standard. And then I'll come here and I'll say super. So I could just come in between. I could just come here, I'll say simple and standard and super. So, you know, let's give it a line break. So when you could either choose to be a simple member, a standard member, or a super member. So you get the idea, right? So let's move to the last item that we looked at yesterday. The last item we looked at yesterday was block and inline elements. So let's do touch. We say touch 07, and we say block underscore inline .html. So we get rid of this and we say Ctrl B. We open this up, Ctrl B again. Then we came here and said block and inline. We save this up, then let's get our live server up and running. So we currently have nothing on our HTML file, so that's why we don't have anything here. So let's say block. So I explained that there are a lot of block elements, and one of which is the h1 tag. So I could just say hello world, and when I save, sorry, I just type. So when I save this, I explained that the reason why this is a block element is because it spans, it takes up the entire width. It takes up this entire width. And we all opened our Chrome developer tool. So let me open this up and so you get to exactly what we did. And you see that it took up the entire width. See, it took up the entire width. This means that when we do this, let's do something again. Let's have a paragraph tag. Let's say lorem5, and let's save this. See, lorem does not appear next to the hello world. This also means that the paragraph tag is a block element, like it takes up the entire width of the space it occupies. So if I should also come down here and drag and drop and say add maybe lorem 10 again, sorry about this, guys. So when I save this, see, it was meant like we're supposed to have this to continue from here, but it went down and took up the entire width. So this is basically how block elements behave, and we have a lot of block elements too. So one of your assignments is to get a list of all the block elements, and we'll discuss that in class on Monday. So the next, we're not going to be discussing about all the block elements in this video, because I just wanted to give you like an idea of by the time we start working on real projects, you'd come to understand what block elements are. So the next item that we saw was inline, and just as the name sounds, inline. So let's use the anchor tag. I could just leave that blank and say google.com. So you see we have google.com here, and let's click this. You see it doesn't span across the entire width, it just takes up that little space, the little width here. It doesn't, unlike, see this guy, see the blue line goes across, but when you come here, see just this small. And this means that when I have another anchor element and I say HiiT.com, it appears on the next line, like it appears next in line to the first item. See, they are in line. So I could also use the span tag. I could just say I am an instructor, front end dev. So it appears on the next line. Normally it should just wrap to the next line and take up the entire width, but these are all inline elements, so you get the idea, right? So I think this should be it for the lecture review, and on the next slide I will be showing you what you should build, your assignment, which should comprise of everything that we've done. So for the assignment, you just have to create a simple blog. So you could just write whatever you want to, but keep the structure the same. And this is a link, and this is a form. So I'll carefully scroll down. And also look at this. See, they appeared in italics, so you should know the tag for this and this and all this. So I hope to see you pumped up and and filled with so much enthusiasm for the next class. I also encourage you to make very good use of your weekend. You could actually just do more things than we've done. You could start CSS and just do interesting things. So take very good care of yourself, guys. Bye.